Hi, guys, and welcome to the Between the Zones film news show. As usual, I am your host, Kees, and we are here to once again talk about the movie news, all the news that happened in the world of movies the past week. With me, the usual guys. First of all, Chris Doman, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing. Just getting ready for some fun stuff on the channel coming up. And obviously, Case, you've had a pretty good week, wouldn't you say?
I've had a pretty good week. Yeah, definitely, for sure. Anyway, I'm feeling good. Chris is feeling good. How is Matt feeling, I wonder?
Doing fine.
Fine, just fine. Okay, that's good. So let's start this show with, as always, the weekend box office, the estimated numbers they're in. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 came in at number one with a big opening number, 145 million domestically in just 3 days, already at 427.7 worldwide. That's big. Of course, it opened worldwide a week ago, at least in some territories, and now it also found its way to the US. So, already really big numbers, and probably going to be the next billion-dollar movie this year, besides Fate of the Furious and Beauty and the Beast. Speaking of Fate of the Furious, that was the number two, coming in at no, at 8.5 million, dropping pretty big actually with 57.2%. But it is at 1.16 billion worldwide. It almost overtook Beauty and the Beast, which it probably soon will. In number three is the Boss Baby, still holding on in the top five. It's nuts, making 6.2 million, only dropping 34.1%, and already at 435 million worldwide. That's huge for such a movie. For How to Be a Latin Lover, dropping quite big actually to 5.2 million with 57.2%. And at number five, rounding out the top five, is Beauty and the Beast, actually coming back into the top five with 4.9 million, dropping only 27.6%. And as I said, it's still just over Fate of the Furious at the worldwide box office with 1.19 billion. I wonder, Matt, your thoughts on the weekend box office?
Um, Not too surprising. I mean, Beauty and the Beast coming back is a little, but Boss Baby kind of makes sense. It still is the only kids film out there. How to Be a Latin Lover made sense. It's surprising that it still is in the top five, but it makes sense that it was gonna drop because anyone who really wanted to see this movie saw it last week when it came out. Um, Guardians, no surprise there. That's number one.
You're also not surprised with the opening number?
Oh, opening. Yeah,
Considering you
it's
were the
crazy.
closest to make that call.
Oh, really? I just fucking guessed
Yeah,
that.
because you said
Um,
150. So
yeah.
Yeah,
I looked
145
it up. I
million.
believe it made like it make like 50 million more than the first one, if
Yeah,
I'm not mistaken. I mean
yeah.
that just sort of shows you the difference from a property no one knew anything about to one of the most anticipated sequels in the MCU. I mean, it's insane.
Very true indeed. Chris, your thoughts?
um, son of a bitch. If I go back to the to our live show we had on Friday, I think Evan actually predicted all five correctly.
God damn it, Evan.
What the hell? He's making me look bad. I don't like it. But one surprise.
You look bad anyway, so who cares? Sorry.
So do you. But I'm surprised by Guardians because, well, I'll be honest. I thought the word of mouth was gonna not affect it as much because, for all intents and purposes, this film probably should have done about 160, 170, and if it's only gonna crack 150, that's you know, is it? I mean, did the word of mouth really affect it? Anybody think?
I doubt it actually. Look, it's still 145 million is huge. It also depends on like the drop off next weekend. I think that
True.
a lot of people because of the word of mouth from the critics early, they were like, okay, let's wait a little bit. Let's wait it out until actual audience see it and then see it next week if it's still worth it. So maybe next week it will have a big or a small drop off depending on how audiences like it. But like the early word of mouth was a little mixed, mostly positive, but a little mixed. Now that more people are seeing it, I am actually seeing more people liking this movie. So I think that it will have a small drop off, and that it actually underperformed a little bit this weekend. Still, 145 million is no joke.
No,
That's fucking
no.
huge, bro. I mean, it's still it's bigger than any of the Marvel Cinematic Universe sequels besides Age of Ultron, of course.
And
So,
Civil War.
Civil War was a third, not a sequel. So that is what I meant. But anyway, any Chris, you got any more thoughts or?
Nope, nope.
No. All right. Then, because of the fact that this is kind of a slow news week, I decided to add two things to the list that we don't usually do, simply because I need to fill time. We only with three people, so we can do this. I think. So, speaking of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, we are going to have a little bit of a spoiler talk about the movie because we've all seen it. Some of us gave our spoiler-free reviews early. But look, here's the thing. The movie's out. You should have seen it. If you don't want it spoiled because you haven't seen it yet, then I'd say skip ahead. I'll put in the time note right here. You have been warned. So let's get into Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I liked the movie. I didn't love it. I had issues with some things, but I did like it. What I mostly liked about it is that it delved into the characters more. It gave Yondu a lot more character, Nebula more character, of course, with Peter Quill with his dad. Um, a lot of character stuff, so that was great, which actually like a good sequel should do. Like you have the introduction out of the way so you can just focus on the characters a little bit more. But I wonder, Chris, your thoughts, and don't hold back on the spoilers, please.
Oh, don't worry. I will do my absolute damnedest not to. I liked it. It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. It was fine. Cause when it comes to stuff like the script itself, I did have some problems. I was
Right.
not a fan of our villains, that being the sovereign slash ego.
Old people.
Yeah, gold people didn't like him. So stupid, you
Yeah.
know. And well, and here's the other thing though too. They were underutilized because they had some moments where I'm like, oh, well, these are just normal people, but they're also like Rocket says, they're conceited douchebags. Which, again, it was working, but I wasn't getting enough of them. But the main cast, yeah, no, everyone had their moment to shine, and they all, I feel like they all actually did pretty good, even though we'll get into it more in a second here in terms of some of their moments, which some of them worked, some of them didn't. And Yandu, fucking A.
Uh, yeah. Yeah. So it's spoiler talk. So yeah,
But
Yondu
but
died,
but
and Uh, that was actually kind of a surprise, and I was a little bit bummed out at first because it was like you set him up, like they really gave him a lot of character, and you set him up to be like Peter Quill's dad, for the rest of the franchise for the next movie, but then he dies at the end, and it was like, okay, but hey, Marvel finally killed off a main character, so I have to give it props for that at least because that's something I really have issues with the Marvel movies, even though I like most of them. They never kill anyone off, and now they did, and it's like, hey, they actually did that.
and
But
it
Matt,
hurt.
your thought? Yeah, Matt, your thoughts on Guardians 2?
I really love this movie. I
Nice.
don't think it's good. I think it's great. I think the experience I had watching this movie, I mean, I loved it. The characters were not better than the first movie, but I loved that it did kind of like what a good sequel should do, especially for like these team things where it's like the first movie, you have to spend that time introducing every character, getting them to come together, and then the third act, okay, they're a team. Now they're just the team, and I love the interactions with each other, like the whole winking thing with Rocket and Baby Groot. I know you guys didn't really like him. I loved Baby Groot. I thought he had really funny moments. I actually did like Ego. I thought, listen, Marvel is not known, besides Loki, for having great villains. They just are not really good at this point at having really superb villains. He's on the better side of the Marvel villains, I would say. Easy, like top 5, maybe not, but like
I really disagree on that one, but sure.
As
okay,
do I.
Okay,
I figured that.
that's fine. That's your opinion. We can
But yeah,
disagree.
the thing with Yondu dying, I thought it was done well, but I kind of saw it coming right off at the beginning with Stallone. The minute Stallone says, "When you die, you'll never get like the funeral and everything," I was like, "Oh well, Yondu's probably gonna die." Because why would you say that? Like he's either gonna die in this one or the next Guardians movie, because you don't have a big moment like that. Like when you die, you're never gonna get this thing. I Stallone freaking loved. I kind of forgot Stallone was in this movie until his
So he
credit
popped.
was at the beginning, and then I loved the whole end credit sequence with him and Vig Rhames and the other people, where he's just like, "Let's go steal some shit." I want them to do another movie with just that crew. So yeah, I really love this movie. I thought really fantastic. I'm looking forward to now. Given what happens to Peter Quill in this film, I'm interested to see where he is when we hit Infinity War.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see where these guys will be at Infinity War, and I'm very happy that you enjoyed it that much. I just couldn't get there. My issues with it were I don't remember any of the songs of the new soundtrack. Like the first soundtrack is great, and I may need to revisit this movie, of course, but like after watching the first movie, I instantly had Hooked on a Feeling, A New Child, and all of these songs. I just knew them, and after watching this, I don't remember any of the songs. Simply also because I'm not that big a fan of the music from that time period. But that was the same case of with the first Guardians. I didn't knew any of the songs, but with the first one they did stuck in my head, and with this one they didn't. Also, the score was completely misused simply because they rehashed this score for the first one and they just put it in this movie. I was like, sometimes it works, sometimes it didn't. You could have made a new score, especially because the score for the first one is so great. And I know that Tyler Bates is the composer for this one.
Yes.
Yeah, I know he's a great composer because he did the first one, so you can make some new tracks for this one, I thought. Um, but yeah, mostly I liked Yondu was great. Nebula also was great. I thought was very good what they did with her character, like showing what she's been through with Thanos and Gamora, and also establishing that relation between Gamora and Nebula a little bit more. I thought that was very good, well done, and I really like that. Even though Karen Gillan as Nebula, her performance is but that's something else. Anything that you guys want to hit on before we move on to the next point?
So, in response to your statement about the soundtrack, all I'm gonna say is, "Shane, keep us together." Screw you. I'm sorry. Okay, no. Now, to be fair, the songs that they used were great choices, but I would have flipped when they were used because, for example, the chain, wrong time in the film to use it. Right when everyone's pissed off at each other. Well, okay. That time I somewhat got it, but then when Star-Lord is fighting Ego, why then? Why right then? Weird time to start playing it. The conversation that Star-Lord and Ego have about the song Brandy. Again, it was a nice moment, but what the hell did it have to do with anything? And Currents, I respect your opinion, but my thing is, the reason I don't believe Ego as a villain is because the film itself worked so hard to make him look like a good guy. And then we're trying to, and they're trying to do that whole, mystery revealed, ooh, ah, but it was sloppy in the execution, at least for me.
I agree with that. Like,
Now,
the moment it was revealed at the end, it's like, oh, whatever.
Kinda. I mean, shit. To be honest, Taserface was a better villain.
Oh, that's
And to
so.
be fair, that whole bit was amazing. Rocket had me in stitches
Yeah.
with the way he made fun of that guy. It was beautiful. Which, yes, that is an element to this film that, even though I agree that there was too much of it, the comedy was spot on.
Yeah.
And and again, to wrap up my compliment sandwich, I will say the performances, for the most part, at least between the main characters, were way better. Way
Yeah.
better than the first one.
Yeah, and that's also because the first one didn't have that many character moments. It was more action-packed fun instead of heavy character moments. And with this one, you have those heavy character moments, and then you really see that the performances are great. So that's really good.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, Kearns, anything else before? I'm done. So, Kearns, want to
Okay.
wrap this part up?
Yeah, I kind of just said it. I mean, I disagree. I thought the reveal of Ego was well done because I thought it made sense. I mean, we're talking spoilers, so it made, like, basically Ego had sex with, like, every female species he came. And so to me, when that reveal happened, it made sense because I'm like, oh, so that conversation, that whole thing he talked about with Star-Lord, he did that for every single one of them because he
Yep.
needed to make it seem like I'm great big nice old dad, and then he's conceited douchebag. He's the conceited douchebag in the movie. I mean, the gold people didn't totally work, but I think I liked just what they did with Kurt Russell. I think he was able to, because I think Kurt Russell was really the only person who could have pulled it off. I feel like if they had cast someone else, it would have been different. Because I feel like, yeah. So
Although real quick, I would agree with that if he was the only villain in the movie. But like I said,
But
we had
yeah.
Taserface, we had the Gold People, we had Ego, we had Nebula, we had
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too many people.
No.
If we took out the Gold People, or, well, actually no, if we had
No,
taken out,
you need the gold
easily.
people. You need the gold.
we do need the Gold People because of what it's set up in the post credits. That's the only reason they're now justified.
That's the only reason.
I
Other
mean,
than that,
also, it's difficult. It's one of those things where it's like if you take out an element, you have to add an element for everything. Because it's like the only reason why they meet Ego is because he saves them from the gold people, and so it's one of those situations.
Which, by the way, that was a point in Jacob's review that I completely disagree with. The story actually flowed pretty smooth, I thought. Like,
yeah, the story flowed pretty well. It was just.
It was just the events that seemed a little iffy.
It was a little all over the place. That's the issue.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well. But I can't finish this without saying 5 end credit scenes. I mean, how high is Marvel on their end credit scenes? I thought that 2 was a lot, and now they have 5. And seriously, when I was sitting in the theater and and you have the first one after really the movie ends, and then you see the Guardians of the Galaxy will return, and then you have when Kraglin is trying to whistle, which was hilarious. Then you get Teenage Groot, which was hilarious. Then you got, of course, the reveal of Warlock, which was interesting and probably setting up the next Infinity Stone, the last one that we are. And then the other ones, oh yeah, Stallone setting up the Band of Ravagers. I don't know where that goes, but probably we'll see that in Guardians 3. And then I can't think of the 5th one right now.
I didn't even watch all of them. I didn't know there were 5 end credit scenes.
Okay. You do know it's a Marvel movie and you have to wait until the end of the credits, right?
Yeah, I kind of thought I was okay. I had just a really bad day on Friday, and I did not want to sit around for every freaking until the final credit rolled. So.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, let's just move on to the first actual news story then. One of the few news stories that dropped this week, the Dark Tower trailer finally released. Of course, this is once again a Stephen King novel adaptation, and Some of them have been good. Some of them have not been good. But
Yeah.
I think this trailer, it looked good. I want to see this movie. I'm interested because this trailer, yeah, it sold me. It wasn't the greatest trailer, but it could have been a lot worse. It looks like a good original fantasy movie that I want to see. I wonder, Matt, your thoughts on the Dark Tower trailer?
I thought it was good. I thought it looked good. It I kind of only knew this movie by name, so now to sort of put, like, to be honest, I never even really looked into this movie, so to put faces now to the movie, it got me interested, um, into seeing sort of what comes. I'm interested to see what the rest of the marketing for the film is going to be.
All right, Chris.
So now the real question is this adaptation going to be in the Nostalgia Critics yearly Stephen King episode or not?
Oh
Um,
boy.
Based on this trailer alone, I'm actually going to say no. I'm hopeful because quick sum of because now I've finally freaking seen it, and I actually saw it 3 times over the course of the weekend.
Jesus.
Well, I've had some investment because as a fan of the books, and now realizing that yes, this is not an adaptation of the first book, The Gunslinger. This is
That's
actually a
continuation.
continuation, and that's why I'm actually really interested. I am really hoping that come August 4th, this movie really delivers when I do a double feature of that in Detroit. So
We shall see.
we
Right?
shall.
Indeed. Yeah. I haven't read any of the books of this, but it's just that I know some Stephen King adaptations that are good, and I know that there are some not so good ones. But like, I think Idris Elba is a good actor. You can't really go wrong with him. Matthew McConaughey, on the other hand, you can go wrong with him, but he has been on the up lately, so I hope he can just continue it in this movie and give a good performance. I am worried a little bit about the kid because kid actors are hard to do. So we'll have to wait and see if that actually works out.
But if
But
we're
let's just move.
but if we're
Hmm?
lucky, it'll be the next Jacob Tremblay.
Oh, hopefully,
Or Haley
uh,
Joel Osment.
hopefully.
He had some iffy
I'm
stuff.
sorry, I meant
Wait,
Sixth
who's
Sense.
that?
Oh,
Who's
okay.
that?
Sixth Sense kid. Yeah,
Oh, Sixth
Sixth
Sense.
Sense.
Okay,
Talking the one he got nominated for.
Right.
indeed. All right, but let's move on to the next movie story that we have this week. Blade Runner 2049 posters. They released some posters for Blade Runner 2049, the upcoming Blade Runner sequel directed by Denis Villeneuve. I don't really know if we've talked about this movie on the show yet. Chris, do you remember that us talking on the show about Blade Runner,
We
the
didn't.
new one?
We did not.
All right. So in that case, besides the posters, which I think look good, look interesting, I am very excited for this movie, especially because the first Blade Runner, of course, is a very good movie. I don't. It has a cult following in some ways, and the question always is which cut is the one that you've seen and you love, because there are like 10 different cuts of this movie, and I've seen one which I thought was really good. And of course, it's being directed by Denis Villeneuve, who's my favorite working director today. So I can't wait for this movie. I really want to see it. Chris, what about you?
Yeah. One look at these posters, and I am just thinking to myself, I'm back. I'm back, baby.
It's
I'm
back.
exactly. Um, Now I've only seen 2 cuts of the film. I've seen the theatrical cut, which is and then I did see the 2007 director's cut, which, damn, just
Yeah, I
damn.
saw a director's cut. I don't know which one, but I saw a director's cut.
But
The 2007 director's cut is the best.
it's the best one I've seen. Well, you know what? Well, maybe if you want, you can tweet out Scott Mance and see what he says.
Speaking of Scott Mance, Matt.
Not today. My voice is not. Not today.
Ah,
Yeah, Blade Runner, the first movie. It's in my top 50 films of all time. I'm one of the few. I've seen every single cut of the film.
Oh,
Which one is the best?
I can't really answer that right now. It's one of those where it's a thing where I like a lot of different like there's my definitive version of Blade Runner somewhere, which is taking parts of all the cuts. So I can't really right now.
okay.
I have to watch them back again to really give you but yeah, the movie's great. It has a cult following, which had me when it was announced. I was, of course, as a fan of the movie, very excited, but it had me very interested because we've seen cult movies get sequels before, and they don't always work out. An example is Escape from New York, huge cult movie, got a sequel of Escape from LA, wasn't
Not
that great of a
good.
movie. I don't think that's going to happen here because of the people we have involved and everything. It's just interesting, but I'm hoping that it looks good. The posters, I mean, I'm probably, if I'm gonna buy a Blade Runner poster, it's gonna be the original. I'm probably not buying one of these from my wall, but give me not a tease to a trailer. Just give me the trailer already, or the
Yeah, yeah.
sound.
Let's not have this rant again.
There is a trailer, by the way.
The next trailer that's coming out,
a tease.
not the tease.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Let's not have that rant. And again. To be fair though, the first trailer, I don't think we talked about it, but I thought it looked pretty good. Like it was very reminiscent of the first Blade Runner. Um, and I and I'm very anxious to see Ryan Gosling in this role. Because you got one of the all-time greats, Harrison Ford, in of course the original. So
And
yeah,
in this one,
and he's in this one, of course. But it will be interesting to see how Ryan Gosling fills the shoes, so to speak.
Yes,
But
yes.
let's move on.
As
Oh,
apparently a lot of people are starting to compare Ryan as possibly being this generation's Harrison, which,
well, they're not wrong
technically speaking, no.
because the only thing that Ryan doesn't have yet is like one definitive movie franchise role. But I think
Harrison's got like 20 of them.
that's the thing.
Yeah,
But on the other hand, Ryan Gosling has more Oscar nominations, so.
true.
But we'll see. Let's move on to the
Well,
next
Crash won an
news story.
Oscar, so what does that tell you?
What?
Oh
I
boy.
said Crash won an Oscar, so what does that tell you?
Yeah. Jesus Christ! Don't remind me of that shit. All right, move on to the next news story. First images released for the Murder on the Orient Express remake. I have been hearing quite a lot about this remake simply because Star Wars and Daisy Ridley and Josh Gad, of course. But because of that, I was like, wait, what is the movie that Daisy Ridley is working on with Josh Gad that is not Star Wars? Well, apparently Murder on the Orient Express, and now we finally have some images for it. And I think I don't know the original movie, but I think these images look good. I think director and cast for this movie is great, of course. So I'm actually pretty excited for this movie. I wonder what does Matt think of it?
I think the images look great. I think the cast is really interesting. I never seen the original, but I know the general idea of what the film is. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how it turns.
And I think Matt cut out for a second. Oh yeah, Matt cut out for a second.
Okay.
Yep.
But okay, you're excited to see this movie.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the movie.
That's good, Chris.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. While I'm not gonna claim I'm a Agatha Christie aficionado or anything like that, but I have read a couple of her stories, Murder on the Orient Express being one of them, and I have seen one other version of it, though that was a TV movie with I forget the guy's name who played the main character, Hercule, but yeah, I'm actually looking at these images. I'm looking at some of the cast, and I'm like, ooh, Michelle Pfeiffer, she's looking great. Holy smokes! Olivia Colman from Broadchurch, again, she's looking great. Dame Judy, my spirit animal. My God, I would love to beat her. And then, of course, Josh Gad, Johnny Depp, and Daisy Ridley all look fantastic. And Kenneth, the reason I'm actually excited for this movie.
Yeah, kind of Brana.
You know,
Bro.
so yeah, I get the feeling this is. I'm really hopeful that this movie actually makes some money, and if it's really good, gets
Oscar praise.
Yeah, some Oscar praise, please.
That would be nice indeed. Yeah, I do wonder. I'm gonna quickly look up when it's coming out because maybe it is the kind of movie that can get a little bit of Oscar praise because it is still coming out in 2017.
Yep.
So later this year, November actually.
Yeah, so
So yeah,
it's coming out in prime Oscar season.
it definitely is
prime Oscar season.
It definitely could be an Oscar contender.
Depends on how good of a movie it is.
It's coming out.
Hey, don't count your chickens before they hatch.
Hey, let me dream. Let me dream, okay?
Hey, we'll see. I mean, of course, critics will see it earlier.
You be the optimist. I'll be the realist.
Look, critics will see it earlier, and then we'll see if they like it or not, and we can make a judgment based on that. But let's move on to the next news story, which is that Logan is going to be re-released in black and white. Apparently, like all these big successes that are R-rated movies for some reason are getting black and white re-releases, like Mad Max Fury Road last year, which didn't add anything to the movie. I heard I didn't see that re-release for myself, but sure, whatever. And now Logan also is getting black and white re-release for marketing purposes, bullshit purposes. I don't know. I honestly, Matt, you're liking this story, I think.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Here's the thing. Logan is one of the most beautiful films I think I've ever seen. The color palette in the film is fantastic. Why are you taking that away and putting it in black and white?
Exactly.
Really?
Listen, listen, a chance to see Logan again on the screen. Awesome. Is it a really smart marketing scheme? Heck yeah, because you have Guardians just came out. It's the start of the summer blockbuster season. Logan is coming out on Blu-ray. Here's a great way to be like, hey, don't forget, here's our movie. I just wish, I mean, listen, is it probably going to look amazing because it's not like they put Logan into iMovie, took the color, and just brought it down to black and white? No, they spent some time.
Unlike the Rogue One title card.
I just don't know why. I just don't know why they're doing this. It just because to me, it's again one of the most amazing looking. It would be like taking Raiders of the Lost Ark and putting it in black and white. And you can argue that with the 1930s, but again, the color in Raiders of the Lost Ark, you don't want to take that away. Why do that?
Yeah, the only
I kind of want to see that.
The only reason
buy the
they
Blu-ray,
do...
and then when you're watching the Blu-ray, take your remote, just turn the color all the way down. There you go.
Nah, but the only reason they do black and white re-releases is for R-rated movies that are usually a little bit too graphic. So in black and white, it looks less graphic for some reason, or it's a little bit more artistic. But honestly, in the case of Logan, I don't see it add anything. Same thing with Mad Max. Like, the colors in Mad Max were so good. It was a very good-looking movie. It was very colorful, and that is what I actually quite liked about the movie. It's like, don't make it black and white. And I know Chris really loves Mad Max and also quite likes Logan. So I wonder, what are your thoughts on this shtick?
Shtick? Oof. Ouch. You hurt me.
All right, that's a little mean.
You hurt me. No, are you kidding me? If there's multiple screens of this, I'm doing it. I'm doing it over and over again, because... Okay. When they did the Mad Max Fury Road re-release, the silver and chrome version, I thought it was going to be stupid. I thought it was going to look bad, but I saw it, and to be honest, it reminded me of Sin City.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing. Honestly, if you... Now imagine if you would seeing a film that is that stylized, like Sin City, but now you take away the black and white, you put in the color.
Yeah.
Would
Can I debate that for a second here? Sin City is designed to be in black and white because Rodriguez gave those hints of color every now and again. It was
I know.
designed to be in black and white. In the same way that Logan and Mad Max are designed to be in color. That's why their color palettes are so amazing.
They are.
That's
They
just
are.
my thing.
They are. They are. But to be fair, when I saw Mad Max, in black and white, it gave me a new perspective, and it gave me a much greater appreciation of how much the color really added to it. But to be honest, if you take away the color, it actually you do get to see some new things. You got to see some different details. You got to see some really interesting grays in there. You got to see additional colors you didn't see beforehand. So I'm purely from a visual standpoint, I actually am looking forward to the Logan black and white. Even though, yes, is it a marketing ploy? Dear God, yes. Is it just a cheap gimmick? Of course. But to be fair, it's been done well before, so I'm hoping that 20th Century Fox can do this correctly. And
I think they will.
Yeah.
I think they will. Again, my thing is just like,
and
it's
you
such a
guys
beautiful
you guys aren't wrong.
Also, my thing is, when does the Blu-ray come out? Like in a couple of weeks?
In about a month and a half, I think.
Yeah, a month. Yeah, what am I saying? A couple of weeks? Yeah, a month. I'll probably just pick up the Blu-ray instead of, because here's the thing: theater prices suck nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
You just gotta go at the right time.
Yeah. I'm not gonna go see this special screening, probably because it also is not shown in the Netherlands, and also because I don't like black and white at all, and I think this is a stupid shtick that I'm just tired of. Like, yeah, I get it. You want to market a movie once again. I don't fucking care. But move on to the next news story. Who will direct Bond 25 and who will play 007? Because recently some rumors have come out. May it be Chris Nolan who actually is going to direct Bond 25? May it be the guy who directed some of Doctor Who? Paul, what was his name again, Chris?
Oh,
the only Doctor
McGeegan?
fanatic I know.
Something? Paul McGeegan or something.
Wait, you're probably thinking of Paul McGann, who was the Eighth Doctor.
Oh, sure, whatever. I heard someone say Doctor Who one time, but like I want. I'm sorry.
I heard someone say Doctor Who once.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, I wonder who will direct Bond 25. I honestly have no idea. I know Matt wants Matt Vaughn, and I think Matt Vaughn is completely a wrong pick for Bond. I mean, he did a great job with Kingsman: The Secret Service, but Vaughn does the movies best when he can make an R-rated movie. That's also like, if you watch Kick-Ass and Kingsman, it's like there you can really see how he did it well. First Class is great, but I can kind of see that is a pretty dark movie for a PG-13 movie, and I think that Vaughn was a little restricted there and could have had a product if he would have had the R rating. But of course, it's an X-Men movie, so he can't do that. But
now we can.
Look, I would love Chris Nolan to direct Bond 25. Like Jacob, I'm fanboying over the idea because I think Chris Nolan is a really good director. He did a great job with Batman, and I want him to do Bond 25. And as for 007, I don't think Daniel Craig has to return. He's a little bit too old. I still want either Tom Hardy or Tom Hiddleston, depending on what type of Bond you want to set. Because like Tom Hardy is more like the Daniel Craig action hero, big guy with a lot of muscles, and Tom Hiddleston is more the gentleman suave type. So depending on what kind of Bond it's going to be, either of those actors. I wonder, Chris, your thoughts on this one?
Oh Lord, it's too much speculation for me, man. But you know what? Just for quick shit's sake, I'll say if I could choose right now who would do this, I would say Chris Nolan only if it was Craig's last film. And then get Craig on for his swan song, one last hurrah. Then, like I said, Chris Nolan directs. Or I would actually say get Paul Greengrass.
Interesting. Then you do continue the Bourne-esque Bond movies.
Yes, because that's what's been selling. It's not the suave gentleman anymore. Unfortunately, look, I mean, and I want to go back to that. I genuinely do. I want another Sean Connery or a Pierce Brosnan, but I think we're not in that day and age anymore. That time has passed. Now everything's dark and gritty and realistic, so we might as well just keep it going, but get one of the pioneers and one of the best directors of that style. And so, yeah.
Paul Greengrass directing Daniel Craig or someone else?
Someone else. Like I said.
Who?
Off the top of my head, Dan Stevens.
Not a bad pick, I'd say. Matt, your thoughts?
Here's the thing. Did you guys see The Man from U.N.C.L.E.?
Oh, yes.
Great movie. Very old school Bond film.
Mm-hmm.
Why did it not work? Because the IP was unrecognizable to mainstream. Bond, the name recognition.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Bond is the one franchise that can do old school because people go to see James Bond. You can do a Sean Connery, Pierce Brosnan. Here's my thing with Matthew Vaughn, why I want him. X-Men First Class was a Sean Connery era James Bond film with new age stuff. You get Michael Fassbender to be Bond because all that stuff when he is searching for Kevin Bacon feels like an updated 60s Bond era type thing to it. That's the movie I want because Bond is the only franchise that you can do that. And I think I love The Man from U.N.C.L.E. I think it's a great movie, but it just didn't make money because no one knew the name. Everyone knows James Bond, so it could be great to, when we had these dark and gritty films, to just have a fun movie. Like, just have a fun, over-the-top spy action film again.
Now, were it 2007, I'd say yes. That would be amazing, but
with this new Bond era, it's hard to go back to that.
I'm sorry, dude.
No, you can do. Timothy Dalton was one of the darkest Bonds, and then we went into Pierce Brosnan. It's happened before where we've done changes before. Here's the thing. Bond is an ever-changing thing. Bond changes with whatever director comes in and changes it. Casino Royale could have easily been a Pierce Brosnan type film. It wasn't because they wanted to do their Batman Begins. Bond. Yeah. That's the thing with Bond is James Bond is a Play-Doh franchise. It can be molded in 100 different ways. There's no set way to do it. There are examples you can use, but it can just be molded. And I think I want to see that because I'm much more of I like the Daniel Craig movies, but I don't love them like everyone else. I'm more of a Pierce Brosnan, Timothy Dalton, Sean Connery Bond person.
Yeah, it makes sense. And to be fair, the only Daniel Craig movie that I love, which is also my favorite Bond movie, is Casino Royale. The other three, let's not talk about them.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I'm interested to see a Guy Ritchie directed Bond movie. Anyone else?
Interesting. There's a lot of
there's another director I could see with Craig.
Who?
Guy Ritchie.
I don't want Craig back. I'm sorry.
I also don't want Craig
Here's
back.
the thing. The minute he said, "Oh, would you ever do another James Bond movie?" "Oh, I'd rather slash my hooves." I'm sorry. You don't want to come back to this. The only thing you're coming back for is money, and that's not a good reason to come back to a franchise. I'm sorry to all Craig fans, but bring in some new blood. Bring in someone who wants to play.
Okay.
Guys, For our penultimate news story, which might get a little bit of controversy going, Robert Zemeckis is rumored to direct the Flash movie because the Flash movie apparently still is a thing, which surprises me, honestly. But yeah, let's talk about this. Matt, you are the biggest DCEU fan here, so what do you think of this news?
If I'm remembering correctly, isn't this one of these? Well, I heard it from a guy who heard it from a guy who's really high up there, right? Is this?
Yeah.
Do we? Yeah. Okay. That's
Don't
not
don't
really
run with this.
stuff.
Yeah,
Don't
we
make
we
this
we we
thing.
heard, we heard it from Bob Finstock.
Okay. Here's the thing. Well, I mean, bottom line, he is a winner, so we can believe it.
Actually, last Friday would disagree with you.
I mean, yeah, but come on, man. Close match. He was winning the whole thing. Okay, getting back to the thing. I'm a huge fan of the current Flash show on the CW. I think it's really good because it understands the character from the comics of Barry Allen. Um, my thing with this movie is it is I don't really know what to think right now. I haven't seen enough of Ezra Miller. I have to see Justice League before I'm like, yes, he's great, and I want to see a whole movie with him. Robert Zemeckis, a huge fan of his movies. Back to the Future, Roger Rabbit, Forrest
Just
Gump. He hasn't done a movie in a while.
The Walk.
The Walk. I didn't see it. I didn't see
The
it.
Walk 2 years ago. That was a
Okay,
great
The
movie.
Walk 2 years ago is not really
It
uh
was a
the
great
Flash.
movie, severely
Oh,
underrated, I
great movie.
think.
Great great movie, I'm sure. But here's the thing: if this was 1989 and he just did Back to the Future 2 and 3, sure, perfect guy for the Flash. But I think I would love to see it, of course, but I just think where the movie is right now in its development hell, and the fact that Zemeckis hasn't done a project in a while that makes me go, oh yeah, he's perfect to do a movie in this day and age. So yeah.
Chris? Oh dear.
I got nothing.
There's nothing to
What?
have.
There's
It's
nothing to
like
say, and
Uh,
well, first off, I don't see this movie happening, and I don't see Zemeckis practically coming out of retirement to do this film.
by the way, he also did Allied last year.
Oh yeah, that's
oh
right.
really? He did Allied? Oh
Hmm.
my. Well then I take back that he's not doing work, but he's not doing
Well, yeah,
No,
no,
he is doing work.
he
The
is doing
Walk,
work.
Allied,
he's not doing this type
doing
he's
something.
not doing superhero.
He's not doing blockbusters.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious if Robert Zemeckis would do it. I just doubt the Flash movie will ever happen because I think the DCU will be pretty much done by that point. But whatever, we'll see. Now, quick round of a game that I wanted to do because once again I don't have enough to fill this show, but still we're going quite long already. So let's do a quick round of a game that we've done on the Take Three show before called 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. It's quite simple how it works. One of us starts off with an actor who was in a movie with another actor. And then the next person goes with that actor and says it was in a movie with another actor, and so on until all of us are
Elimination.
out. Until all of us are out except for one, of course, because he came up with something that we don't know the actor or something. So also some rules. Only you can only use the one actor once, and you can only use one franchise once. So one movie per franchise. Those are essentially the rules. And I'll just start it off with
What's the order?
Will. All right. So the order is I will go to Chris. Chris will go to you, and you will go to me. And I will say that Will Smith was in Suicide Squad with Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie was in The Legend of Tarzan with Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel L. Jackson was in Pulp Fiction with John Travolta.
John Travolta was in Hairspray with Zac Efron.
Ooh, nice one. Zac Efron was in. Oh, do I screw you guys already or?
No, not yet.
Okay,
Please.
fine.
We only
Zac
just started.
Efron was in Neighbors with Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen was in This Is the End with Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill was in what was the movie? War Dogs with Miles Teller.
Okay, Miles Teller was in. Oh God, Fant Four Stick with Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan was in Creed with Sylvester Stallone.
Sylvester Stallone was in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 with Zoe Saldana.
Okay. Zoe Saldana was in Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl with Orlando Bloom.
Orlando Bloom was in Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring with Ian McKellen.
Ian McKellen was in X-Men with Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart was.
Take Star Trek out.
Oh no. Nope.
Problem is,
Was in Ted with Seth MacFarlane.
Seth MacFarlane was in A Million Ways to Die in the West with Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron was in Prometheus with Logan Marshall Green. Now let's see. I do it.
All right.
And that's the game.
You got me.
Nice job.
That was fun.
I only remember that guy because he was terrible in Prometheus. He was so overacting. Oh my god. But I can look it up. I can look up what he was in. Seriously, like, I love Prometheus. Most of the performances are great, but he in that movie is god awful. Logan Marshall Green.
Do you mind if we just go to the opening this weekend? Because my family has been eating this whole time.
Yeah, true. By the way, he was in The Invitation, for example, and he's going to be in Spider-Man: Homecoming. He was in Snowden. A couple of movies. All right.
Nice.
But that was the round. I won. Yay! I'm happy. All right. Let's move on to opening this week. Two movies opening this week. One is Guy Ritchie's. Guy Ritchie also directed another movie this year called King Arthur and the Legend of the Sword, which looks interesting. Like, I thought the trailers looked pretty good actually, but the question is if it will be good. We'll see. I've actually heard not bad reviews about it so far. And the other one is comedy Snatched with Amy Schumer, which I have not
and Goldie Hawn.
I have not been a big fan of. And apparently Chris really wants to talk about this. So, Matt?
Oh, no, I was just saying Goldie Hawn's in the movie too. She's pretty
Yeah,
big.
but wait, opening this week. Are you going to see any of the movies?
Probably not going to see. I only saw Trainwreck because my mom and sisters wanted to rent it. It was actually fairly funny. I thought John Cena was actually the funniest part of that movie, being completely honest. Her style of comedy is very hit and miss for me, so
for you
probably
personally,
not gonna. King Arthur, actually, to be honest, the word of mouth has got me a lot more interested in this film. I'm probably going to wait until next weekend to think about seeing it. I'm gonna wait until every other critic who hasn't been able to see a pre-screening of this can go see it and get a review up, and then I'll be like, do I want to go and spend my money to go and see this? No.
All right, Chris,
home this
are you going to see any of these movies?
I'll probably go see King Arthur actually, because again, look, Goldie Hawn, loved you in Overboard, but honey, you're with Amy, and yes, she is very hit or miss with me as well. So yeah, I'll probably go see King Arthur. Probably forget about it the minute I walk out of the theater, and
In
just
T-minus One day. Yep. All right.
Exactly. And
Jeremy Johns.
I'll just go see Guardians again.
Okay. Well, I don't think I'll see either because of money reasons. But I am interested in King Arthur. If it gets rave reviews, then I may just end up seeing it. Otherwise, I'll wait for both to hit Blu-ray and then I'll download them or something. So yeah, that's about that, and that's our show. So let's plug everyone. First off, Chris Doman, where can people find you online?
Yes, you can find me on Twitter at my band Last Shot Redemption at LSAR Band MN, and you can find us here on Take 3 Productions on Twitter at FanSchmodown.
Indeed. And Matt, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Currents_Matthew, on YouTube at MattMovie611, and right here on Take 3 every other Saturday hosting the Movie Fandom Show.
Indeed. And you can find me here on the Take 3 channel, do some shows, most recently kicking Chris Day's ass on the fan movie trivia Schmodown, making my way into the tournament. Yay, number 3 competitor. Yay, fuck y'all. I'm very happy with that. And yeah, I'm not that active on my YouTube or Twitter, but you can follow me anyway if you're interested at Dutch Movie Guy on Twitter and the Dutch Movie Guy on YouTube because I still have a lot of videos up if you haven't seen them yet. So I say check them out. This was our show, and then we'll see you next week on Monday. Take care.